Hey everybody, I'm Ralph Calabrese. This is Dad Positive, and today we're going to discuss how Scott Galloway thinks we're planning our own extinction, or big tech is planning our own extinction. So let's listen to his thoughts on that real quick.
When you use AI, have you noticed the prompts that are almost irresistible at the end? Let me put this in a series of tweets. Right. Before you know it, you're 3 hours deep. But effectively, these companies have attached the entire economy and literally trillions of dollars to trying to get people to, or trying to convince young people, specifically young men who are more susceptible, because quite frankly, their prefrontal cortices isn't as developed.
You're too stupid. You're too stupid.
To try and convince them they can have a reasonable facsimile of life online. Why go through the hierarchy of trying to make friends? It's not easy, right? Why try to figure out how to navigate a corporate, all this, when you can go on Reddit or Discord and find friends, or you can trade crypto or stocks on Robinhood or Coinbase? And why, Anderson, would you go through the rejection, the dressing well, the effort, the expense, the humiliation, developing a kindness practice of trying to establish a romantic partnership when you have literally lifelike synthetic porn? So what are we doing? I think we have our economy is attached to one objective, and that is to evolve a new species of asocial, asexual males. Unintentionally, we have an economic interest right now, I would argue, in planning our own extinction.
Given that if you look at the totality of population issues around the world, as Elon Musk keeps warning people, we are heading towards a population disaster, not, as some people have tried to argue, by having too many people for the planet, but by having too few.
Yeah, look, and the elephant in the room here, there's a lot of factors, sociological, economic, but what we're up against, or what young men are up against, is the deepest pocketed companies with godlike technology and, quite frankly, medieval institutions trying to regulate them, are essentially trying to sequester them from all their relationships from their friends, their parents, and potential romantic partners. So 40% of the US S&P now is now in the business of isolating and polarizing. Why go through the effort of trying to make friends when you have Reddit and Discord? Why would you put on a tie and go through the corporate BS of navigating a corporation when you can make money trading stocks or crypto on Robinhood or on Coinbase? And why, Pierce, would you go through the effort, the humiliation, and the expense and the potential rejection of trying to establish a romantic partnership when you have literally lifelike synthetic porn available 24/7? So unfortunately, unwittingly, moment by moment, we have created an economic interest, a huge economic interest, in what is effectively evolving a new species of asocial, asexual males. It's as if we've attached the S&P to our own planned extinction.
We are doomed.
I do not expect something actually smart to attack us with marching robot armies with glowing red eyes, where there could be a fun movie about us fighting them. I expect an actually smarter and uncaring entity will figure out strategies and technologies that can kill us quickly and reliably, and then kill us.
Okay, he's an interesting fella, because to me, what it sounds like is he's running a psyop, and he's actually doing this subliminal. I'm going to keep repeating, if he's been making the rounds, he keeps repeating like how much money there is in big tech, which is all the opportunities for investing, where to invest, how difficult it is to physically go in and get a job, and then how difficult it is to try to, get a female. He's presenting it as if he's saying, as if he's helping with this, or these are the things that you should stay away from, but he's not presenting it in that way, especially that he just keeps repeating it. Kind of like, I think there's data, and he's a professor of marketing. So I think there's research that shows that is in the 80s or early 90s when, and I remember them, like the say no to drugs, or the this is your brain on drugs. Like everywhere you go, there's these billboards of all this, like don't do drugs, don't do drugs. And it turns out that the areas where they were doing all those promotions and advertising, drug use went up because it was like in your face all the time. So it's a way you can, there's market research and, data to say that you can tell people not to do something while influencing them to do it. And I'm not accusing him of that. I'm saying when I listen to him repeat this over and over again off of dozens of podcasts, it gives me the same vibe as the outcome of those advertisements from whatever the 80s and early 90s. Because it's in this cadence of, why would you do this? It's so difficult. But here, look, all these other options are there even without you having to do anything. Why would you risk getting rejected when you can just it's so listen, if you guys are all out there. Yes, he wrote a book called Notes on Being a Man where he claims he's helping young boys. I don't think if I was a young boy that would benefit me, or Notes on Being a Man. I can guarantee you he's not helping me figure out anything more about manliness. And then again, the whole psyop behind this of, it seems like there's no reason to even keep pushing people's, where to go to do all this stuff. So that's the first thing. Young men, if you're listening to that, I don't think that's the person who's actually got your best interest in mind. Because I don't really even know where a lot of the alternatives that he offered was. And then the second, this is the topic, are we creating our own extinction? Again, this one's so, we need more blue collar input. Okay. We've got probably a good 10 years of podcasters, of all the academics and political and, whatever pundits you want to call. The last 10 years, I think the internet has been flooded, and media, social media and media has been flooded with experts and opinions and this and this and that. And we're kind of coming up with garbage. So I'm presenting stuff that can actually help understand both sides of what's going on. And the idea, and all of that is coming mostly from credentialed people who don't really know what the hell they're talking about. This whole AI thing, and even imagine that. And he works with big tech. Imagine saying, this is why we need more blue collar people. Because one, I'll address the issue. If we are causing our own civilizational collapse, let's say, once it collapses, all you high earner, finance tech bros, all of you academics, all of you, white collar people, you're going to be not only out of a job, you might be dead. So when civilization rebuilds itself, it's always the guys and gals like me. It's going to be blue collar, in the trenches people. That's a fact. So if you white collar people are saying, we're creating technology that's going to destroy us, but we're going to keep creating it, know that when you do destroy us, you're going to destroy yourselves, and you also won't be the ones rebuilding anything. So how about we just skip that step, stupid people, and say, let's go to the people that we don't like and we can't have conversations with, and start having conversations with them. Like, hey, concrete guy, or hey, welder, hey, this, hey, blue collar construction worker, would you do, this is, I'm sorry, because this stuff is so common sense to somebody that understands common sense. I thought about this with the Baltimore Bridge, and even the headlines, which I think a lot of them were written by AI, which can be controlled. The headlines were Baltimore Bridge collapses. Baltimore Bridge collapses. And then you go watch the video and a big freaking barge runs into it. And it's like, I remember telling someone that would be the same as saying Ralph fell down. Headline, Ralph fell down. And then you go watch a video and some dude comes along and punches me in the face and I freaking pass out. It wouldn't be Ralph fell down. It would be Ralph got punched in the face and then got knocked out. Bridge collapses. No, a barge ran into it. So I'm bringing this full circle back to AI. So say after that bridge collapse, a bunch of the contractors got together and said, you know what we're going to do? we're going to build this son bitch back bigger and better. I think somebody said that once. We're going to make a 26 lane wide bridge. And everybody would be like, man, that sounds awesome. Is it going to work? We don't know. But it would be great if it did, and we're going to do it. But what do you mean you don't know? We're not sure. Are you working? Yeah, we've already started. We've already broke ground. We've already got everything coming in, and we're putting it all up. But you don't know if it's going to work. No. Is there a chance that it could collapse? Yes. Is there a chance it could collapse and kill people? Maybe. But you're still going to build it. Damn right. It would never happen in the blue collar world. Okay. So this is the funny thing. That's why I say it is so much easier to be considered successful and to get wealthy in this day and age and not actually know shit about reality, because that's reality. 26 lane bridge just because. Why you want to build it? Just because. We think it would be great. It has a lot of potential. Okay, but is that potential potentially dangerous? Does it have the potential to get people from A to B faster because there's more lanes? Yes. Does it have the potential to kill them? Yeah, probably. Yeah, we're going to do it. I know. And I know this is it's a funny thing because people label millionaire and billionaire as intelligent. And where we are in society now, it is the furthest thing from it. The furthest thing from it. So, if we... I don't think they actually plan on going through with it. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they do plan on going through with it, and they're that dumb or short-sighted, which is dumb, because when you put the bridge analogy there, that's the way to look at it. You need to have more, and none of the tech people are going to do that. But government, I need to watch the 60 Minutes thing. I think they did one on AI. I need to watch that. Government needs to talk to blue collar, not middlemen that potentially gain an advantage because they're contractors that'll make money off of these things. Not those people, but people on the outside that are looking at it from a sustainable and functional standpoint, because it's bizarre. You have to look at it that way. Why would you just build something that you had no idea, and why would nobody say anything? It's ignorant. It's not ignorant. It's stupid, and it's stupid that we just go around talking about it. Civilizations rise and fall out of sheer stupidity and what I call negative energy. The idea is taking away everything. That's why it doesn't work, because the psychology of the people behind this, it's based in negative emotion. It's based in taking things away. We don't want people to have to do this or this or this, so we'll create this thing that takes that away, but it never works out. So, getting back to this supposedly being a message to young men, instead of a promotion for investments, all the money, and the digital porn and all of that weird stuff. Young men and women anyways, because the social media is hurting women too. But for the sake of the notes on being a man, young men, first thing first, I'll put a link in my description. Do cryopeutic meditation. It's a short, it's not easy, but it's a short and I think effective cold therapy that helps get you into that fight or flight response and gives you some of that oomph that you're lacking if you're just sitting and playing games. The other thing, start easing yourself and weaning yourself off of a lot of the things that are based in what I call feminine energy. And this is where I'm going to have to do another video on this. You're going to think, what? So, sci-fi, computers, gaming, and all of that, that's actually based in feminine energy, even though it's male-dominated fields, if that makes any sense. And what I mean by that is, if you think about it, it takes away the real thing. So doing it takes away the real thing. So gaming is something you do that actually eliminates doing it. And the part of why I say they're based in feminine energy is the psychology of someone back when they first created the computer thought they're going to name the most important part of it the motherboard. And that tells you you can start to look around. My theory of perceived authority, if you I'm not going to throw that up in this video, but when you're imprinted on more by feminine energy, it affects and lays out in a pattern in the rest of the world, and that's how it works. So sci-fi, you have the mothership. So when things are getting hairy out there in the universe and you don't know what to do, you go back to the mothership. It's based in feminine energy, actually, even if it's a male-dominated genre. So those type of things, they move you away from masculine energy, and it's about taking away the real things. But the blue collar type mindset, you've got to have some of it in order to sustain any civilization. So start gaming less and replacing it with something physical and real. Even it's going to be awkward for you probably, but fix something. Find something to fix. And if instead of sitting around the house and, if you're just playing games, I don't know what level of, you might be at, but if you see something around the house that needs fixed, use your computer or phone to look up how to fix it and then try to fix it. No matter something small, whatever it is, a light switch or a trim board or something. Start using your hands to do things in the real world. I know a lot of people say touch grass. You can be someone who just goes and hikes, but that's a passive thing that actually doesn't shift you into positive emotion or positive energy. Again, I'll have to make more videos because I'm introducing new theories on things. But exercise with the purpose, the mind-muscle connection. Visualize yourself getting stronger for the sake of being independent, for the sake of yourself. Like I said, the cryopeutic meditation video is a good one to immediately start connecting you with yourself and your ability to manage your emotions, your stress, your anxiety. I've never been internet porn dude, so I guess I can see the draw for it. I had a pretty wild young life from early teens to, I don't know, early 20s, maybe 22, 21, 22. So I don't get that now. If you are still on it, definitely realize that it's not real. Again, anything that keeps you from doing the real thing, and wean yourself back off of whatever, because I've heard of something like whatever wacky shit that you're trying to appeal. Tell yourself, okay, I'm not trying to get my fix by how much weird, intense bullshit I can come up with. Wean yourself back closer to reality. And then you could wean yourself off of that. But the idea is you've got to look at yourself as an individual that is responsible for yourself, instead of being plugged into all this stuff. It doesn't allow you to see yourself as an individual. It's all that is compensating, using other things to compensate for you. And you need to turn, and it's not a narcissistic way. It's a reality and a responsible way. Responsibility is not narcissism. So that's enough for this video. I think the most important thing is, for young men, don't listen to Scott Galloway unless you are like him and you want to be like him. And maybe he's good for you. If you actually are worried about yourself and the world around you and the people around you, you got to turn inward and work on real things, and not let people gaslight you or psyop you and call you weak and tell you you're not as good. It's frustrating. It's really frustrating. Please, and I keep forgetting to say this, comment, ask questions in the comments so I can get an idea of, what type of stuff will be beneficial. I'll make another video where I talk more about kind of me, so you can see why or how I was able to, go through the things I have and come up with the stuff that I've, come up with. I think that's pretty good. Again, like, subscribe, share, do all that stuff. But most importantly, do the cryopeutic meditation. If you do start doing it, give me feedback, and let me know what you think. I didn't put my chart up here, but I'll put it at the end. The 2 patterns of human behavior, that's one of the other immediate things. Cryopeutic meditation and understanding the triangles of oppression and triangle of opportunity, and making sure whenever you do something, whether it's even a thought, you can process it and say, okay, is this thought negative or is it positive? How do I know? If it fits, here, let me put this chart up. If it fits within the triangle of oppression, and am I being the victim? So, something didn't go my way, and you just want to tell somebody about it. You go online or you're gaming and you're complaining about stuff, and somebody's a perpetrator, you can guarantee that you're functioning in negative emotion, and there's nothing that's going to come out of that. You'll get comfort. Someone else, they might agree with you. Yeah, they're an asshole, but you don't improve. You don't accomplish anything. So you can take whatever happened and shift it to the positive and think critical about it. The critic isn't someone who judges you and makes you feel bad. That's a perpetrator. The critic is the person or thing that makes you think critical. The thing that makes you think critical about it, and you got to, okay, what am I going to do now? How am I going to, and then you have to accomplish it. Through the accomplishment is where you get to be the victor. And once you are victorious, whether somebody else notices and praises you, says, hey, good job, you can do that yourself. The thing about the triangle of opportunity is it's self-sustaining. It's not dependent. You don't have to have someone else to fulfill it. It could be anything. Like I said, I'm going to fix a shelf. If you're in your mom's basement, because this Scott Galloway keeps talking about people in their basements. If you're in your parents' basement and you see a shelf that's broken or a doorknob or something, you think critical. Okay, how am I going to do that? And then you look it up, figure out, find the tools, fix it. Then you're victorious if you fix it and it works. And then you can praise yourself and smile and say, son of a bitch, I did that. The triangle of opportunity can be used every single day, no matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you're doing laundry, if you're taking the trash out, if you're doing dishes, if you're mowing the lawn, anything and everything you do, the triangle of opportunity is right there. At the same time, you could be doing laundry and complaining about it, and then you can be the victim and somebody else is the perpetrator, and then you tell, oh, I had to do the laundry, and then you complain to someone else and they're your comforter. The 2 things you could start doing immediately: cryopeutic meditation every single day, and then analyze your thoughts and your actions through the triangles of oppression or the triangles of opportunity. I think that's a pretty good start right there. That's it for this one, and I'll see you at the next.